Welcome. My name is Crist, and I am the founder of the Jaguar Path School of Shamanism. I am here to share with you today about the Earthkeepers. I've had the honor to meet with the Earthkeepers, the shamans of the Sacred Valley of Peru, in 2006 as I traveled through the Sacred Valley in search for healers. The Earthkeepers are the stewards of this planet. The Earthkeepers are the ambassadors of the planet. They bring the voice of Mother Earth to the rest of humanity. The Queros, who are the direct descendants of the Incas, when they saw the conquistadors arriving in the Sacred Valley, they realized and saw into the future that that was very bad news. So what they did is that they took off and they went high into the Andes at 16 to 18,000 feet. And there they hid, hiding and saving not only their lives, but with a mission to protect the information, to protect the teachings, the whole cosmology of the Incas around the planet, around Mother Earth, Pachamama, and the cosmology of the whole of reality. The Earthkeepers are the ambassadors of the earth and invite us all to participate. They do not recognize any borders. They do not recognize names of countries or cultures. They tell us that we are all brothers and sisters, all children of this earth. All should be equally nourished from this earth, and all should be equally responsible for taking care of her as our true mother. Through the last 15 years that I've been apprenticing closely with Don Francisco Flores, with Don Sebastian Pacara, I have been initiated through the years as a Pampu Messiah originally, the shaman of the Mesa carrier of the valley. Later, after a few years, as an Alto Messiah, the shaman of the high Andes. And only a few years ago, I received the honorary title of the Kurak Akulek, the visionary, the seer. The elders of the Karen Nations people have asked me to share this knowledge with the world in an effort to awaken humanity to the fact that our planet is not only simply our only home, but even more than that, is our mother that gave birth to us, that continues to nourish us, and also is giving us the gift of allowing us a place to rest this body when we leave. It is time now to listen to the Earthkeepers. It is time for all of us to awaken this consciousness, awareness within us, to take the responsibility that each and every one of us has in his individual, as a son or a daughter of this beautiful mother, Pachamama, Mother Earth. It is time for all of us to become the Earthkeepers. This is our planet. This is our responsibility. The dark ages that brought us into exactly that, and a period of darkness, it is more important now than ever to awaken to this responsibility, to awaken to the fact that each and every one of us has to become an Earthkeeper. It is our responsibility to take care of our home, of our neighborhood, of the region we live in, and as a whole as humanity, to return back to this clear understanding, to understanding that has depth of discernment, depth of compassion, and depth of awareness and consciousness that we are not the only ones that inhabit this planet, to come into the understanding that our planet can only sustain so much. So it is time for the ambassadors of the earth, for the Earthkeepers themselves, for the Karen Nation people and Earthkeepers around the world to spread their teachings beyond borders, beyond cultures, beyond races. We are, amongst other species, the ones that are responsible for our planet. And when we look at all the species in the animal kingdom, one of the things that we see is a beautiful balance of how animals, how each species lives amongst other species and really takes care in one way or another of the planet and of their own environment. It is time for us as a species to awaken to the ways of the Earthkeepers. As I met with Don Francisco, one of the first things he told me is that we need to awaken to the awareness and to the understanding of the beauty of the feminine, the power of the animals, and the reality of magic and the divine being within all things, in every cell of our body, in every blade of grass, in every drop of water. The elders share with us the trilogy of the Inca, what we call the Inca Trilogy, a totem of 3 power animals that brings us to the awareness of, again, the nature and the power of nature, brings us to the awareness that animals can teach us so much. In the modern world, of the Western world, we live in the echo of the Dark Ages. And it is in the Dark Ages where 3 things were persecuted: feminine, animals, and magic. Feminine, directly targeting women, were taken all power away and were brought into a place of fear and holding back. Animals, the statement was made that humans are the favorite creation of God and all other beasts are of lesser importance to their creator. They have been put to work, they have become our food, and they have become our entertainment. Fear is what is the prevailing sensation of and towards the beasts. And finally, of course, the biggest part of all that was persecuted, and so many, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people were put to the pyre, was magic itself. We live in a world that is echoing the void and the lack of respect to the feminine, love, appreciation, and learning from the animals, and the understanding that magic lives in every cell of our bodies. Magic is in every sunrise and every sunset. Magic is right here, right now. So the Inca Trilogy is Don Francisco, my beloved teacher and Kero elder, shared with me, is a first moment for us to begin to return, to find our bearings to a truer reality. It's a reality that is void, again, of the respect to the feminine, of learning from animals and understanding of magic, is a void life itself, is a no understanding. Is an imbalanced place that only leads to imbalance that we're experiencing right now on the planet, the end of their environment, the end of so many species around the planet. So we begin by the nature and the beauty, the respect of the feminine. The Kero Earthkeepers tell us that the first thing we need to do is respect Mother Earth. Respect our mothers, respect our wives, our daughters, respect our sisters, because it is from the feminine that all life is born. First, the mother of all mothers, planet, and then the women that give birth to all of us. The Earthkeepers come with a message that they protected for more than 500 years. High in the Andes, not only again saving their lives, but holding this treasure of information, and they come out of the hiding place, if you want, after 500 years ago, in the early 60s, to start coming down to the city of Cusco in the Sacred Valley and beginning to share their ancient wisdom, their ancient ways of cultivating, ancient ceremonies of giving thanks to Mother Earth, the ceremonies to the full moon, ceremonies in preparation for beginning the season to cultivate crops. right after the understanding and clarity of that the first thing we should do daily is thank our planet, thank our Mother Earth, live in that gratitude and live in this place of reverence, stepping not on a platform but rather in a living being, we begin to live a different life. We begin to live in a different hormonal, endocrine identity state. Don Francisco and the Caros, the Earthkeepers, continue to share with us again the Inca Trilogy, the totem of the serpent, the jaguar, and the condor. They tell us that it's important for us as a species to look around us and see other sentient beings and learn from them. And when they begin the totem pole of the serpent, they begin to tell us how the serpent teaches us that we can shed our skin and let go of the past. The serpent teaches us that if we have trauma or hurt, there are ways, there are methods, if we learn from the serpent, ways and methods that we can shed the past. We can let go of those things that were imprinted on us, trauma or difficulties. We can actually mulch them, we can actually transform them, and then bring them on as a new way of being, courageously and liberated. The serpent teaches us, reminds us that we are one with Mother Earth. Reminds us to feel Mother Earth under our feet as serpent, great serpent Amaru always feels Mother Earth belly to belly with her as a living being, giving us her gifts, giving us the elements that we build our body with, giving us the nourishment to sustain this body and life, all the food, all that we drink. And finally, giving us a home when we're ready to leave this body, we can return this to become one again, to return to where it came from. And the second power animal of the totem is the jaguar. The jaguar has so much to teach us. The jaguar teaches us, first of all, no fear. No fear in this world or the next. The jaguar is on the top of the food chain. And thus when it walks in the jungle, it is simply the top predator. There is no other predator that will be walking behind the jaguar. The jaguar never turns around to see, is there someone following? So there is no cell, not one cell in the body that recognizes the emotion of fear. Imagine that. Imagine that. And then taking a moment to look at our nature as humans, we're really actually very low in the totem pole or in the food chain. So we have a lot to worry about. There is a lot of predators out there through the centuries that could have taken us and taken our lives. So fear is a basic emotion and is always almost in the forefront of our thoughts. It's almost what actually fuels our thought. Every time we're going to take a long trip, we have fear. Is everything going to be okay? Will we have a flat tire? Every time we're opening a new business, will I succeed or will I lose everything? Going into a new relationship, starting a new partnership. There's always that element of fear. Many times can be useful as caution, but overall, it really characterizes us as beings that are totally moved by fear. So the jaguar comes and awakens us and says, we are one with Mother Earth. Bring that sensitivity and awaken that jaguar sensitivity within you. That sensitivity that the jaguar holds in her paws. And be that clear mind that makes decisions. That clarity that the jaguar has in her claws. Walk with full power and full sensitivity. Walk with no fear because you are held by Mother Earth. And finally, moving up to the top of the totem pole, we have the condor. And the condor rises and rises and rises high above. The condor takes us, says, come, come. And as we rise high above, it allows us to see the greater picture of our life, and from there, make better informed decisions. As the condor glides left and right, it tells us to weigh out all situations, all relationships and circumstances that surround us. It allows us, with that gift of detachment, that gift of having moved out of being emotionally entangled, it allows us to rise above and be fully present with discernment and clarity, to see from the left side, from the right side, in front and behind, what surrounds us, and from there, once again, make better informed decisions. Decisions that have the ability to also foresee way into the future. Is this that I'm doing today serving me for where I want to be in a year from now, in 10 years from now? As the Condor teaches us to glide above the sacred valley of our life and looking into the silver shining in the moon or the sun, beautiful sacred river Urubamba, parallel to the Milky Way, being our own destiny line. And then as we rise up in Condor, we have the ability, we receive the gift of Condor to see this destiny line way into the future of the sacred valley of our own life. Above all, the Condor teaches us, reminds us that we are connected with the divine, that magic belongs to us, that we are magic. Every moment we breathe is magic. Every sunrise and sunset is magic. Condor reminds us that we are connected to the divine energy. And as the shamans and the Earthkeepers say, Condor always flies wing to wing with a great spirit, riding the winds, riding that wind that is the same air that we breathe. And that same air that we inhale is that wind that our own spirit rides. Wing to wing, we always fly in life, with spirit within and spirit surrounding us. The trilogy describes the love from the feminine, Sachamama, appreciating the feminine. The Jaguar awakens us to the wild animal kingdom as great teachers and examples of how to be, how to survive. And the Condor brings us to the magic. That was persecuted in the Dark Ages, feminine, the animals, and magic, is exactly what was protected for us, for you and I, the Kara Nations people, the Earthkeepers of the Sacred Valley and the Andes of Peru, have protected this information, this knowledge, as a key to our survival, as a key element and important element to our own survival and our planet. The Earthkeepers are here, willing and ready to share with all of us their wisdom, their culture and traditions. They're here to teach us the ceremonies and the tools and the way of being and thinking, the way of measuring time. They're here to teach us the ways of living in balance. It is the same Earthkeepers, the Incas, who more than 1,000 years ago engineered seeds. They have given us their notes, their scientific notes on how to engineer seeds, as they created way into the depth of the Sacred Valley in the sacred temple of Morai, surrounding of 3 mountains that create this crater. They carved out terraces, and in each one of these terraces, they measured a different temperature, a microclimate for each terrace. And all the crops that they planted and raised in each one of these terraces yielded seeds that each and every one of them is already engineered to thrive in a different altitude. They took the seeds from the lower terraces and they brought them to plant in the lower valleys. The seeds from those middle terraces they brought into the Sacred Valley. And the seeds from the top terraces they brought to villages and planted in places above 12,000 feet. The ways and the methods of the Earthkeepers are ways that have been applied for millennia, making sure that the teach us how to do rotating crops so we don't exhaust the nutrients of the earth, making sure that we plant with ceremony according to the moon cycle, giving us the maps of the sun cycles of summer solstice and winter solstice, methods, celebrations, ceremonies, to be human, one with all of nature, with all our beloved sentient beings and the rest of the mammals that we share the planet with. The Earthkeepers are here to share with all of us, beyond countries, borders, beyond cultures, beyond traditions. They're here to share with us the celebration of life itself. They're here to teach us ways to connect with the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the rock and the stone kingdom. They're here to teach us in so many ways a way of thinking and being, again, with always prioritizing walking in reverence, walking in gratitude to the feminine, to our planet, to Pachamama, our Mother Earth, to Mama Kia, Mother Moon. They're urging us to feel the reverence and the sweetness within us, to know that we are held with each step we take, that we're nourished with each year that goes by. They encourage us to look beyond that short-sightedness of fear of other creatures and learn from the animals. Learn, how can I learn from the monkey? How can I learn from the jaguar? Are there days in the week that I need to bring in my Condor power? I'm having a difficulty. Do I need to rise up to Condor to see the greater picture? Am I feeling insecure, unstable? Do I need to go back to Serpent to feel that strength under me, that willingness of Pachamama holding me? Do I need to move with precision and make decision? Then I bring on my Jaguar. Let us welcome the Earthkeepers. Let us welcome this ancient wisdom as advanced knowledge that it is, as clarity of a perfect environment that we can live in, and a planet that can sustain us for centuries to come once we begin to work with Mother Earth in what the Keros name in their language, Quechua, Aini, in correct relationship to, in reciprocity, in gratitude. May this be the time. May this be the summit. May this be us who are beginning a beautiful movement of returning back to our full power, returning back to appreciating, loving, and respecting the feminine within the planet and every woman. May we start to love the animals and live with them, coexist. May we be the ones that once again bring back the magic and that personal relationship we each have with the divine. Thank you for being a part of the Earth Keepers Summit.